When you were young, were you a big time wrestling fan?
I lived my life stream every day. When I was 4 years old, I wanted to be a professional wrestler. I didn't want to be a cop like my friends. I didn't want to be a fireman. I wanted to be a pro wrestler. I lived my life stream.
I'm, as they call me in the business, Vicious Vic Grimes, the CEO of Hardcore. Bottom line is, I got my name from what should I do?
Okay, yeah, I'm Vampiro. My name's Ian Hodgkinson, Canadian, but I've been in Mexico the last 12 years, and that's why I get introduced as being from Mexico, because Vampiro was started in Mexico.
This is a business. I mean, this ain't like football where you want to go to the fucking Super Bowl, you know what I mean? It's just a business where you go out and you make money. It's a job. That's it. I have no goals in wrestling. I've made a name for myself that's worldwide, so I mean, that's really as big as you can get, you know what I mean? People know me everywhere I go.
I'm Conan, also known as K-Dog. In Mexico, Conan El Barbaro. I never wanted to be a wrestler growing up. I just watched it on TV in Miami. I kind of outgrew it pretty quick. I watched it from like 6 to 11 years old. Then I grew it, I found other things like boxing and girls. And then what happened was I went to a match when I was about maybe 21 years old in Tijuana. I used to be a boxer. And a guy invited me to a match in Tijuana. I had actually gotten into a fist fight in a basketball court. And he said, hey, you know how to throw your punches? And I go, yeah, I used to be, I'm a boxer. He goes, why don't you come to Tijuana and learn how to wrestle? And I was like, F that, you know what I'm saying? And he was like, just come down there. It's, it's really different. So I went down there and I was mesmerized by the mask, the capes, all the blood, the sheer frenzy, excitement. I mean, the United States doesn't even compare in crowd noise or even frenzy like Mexico. It's a whole different world. It was almost mystical and magical. It was like watching superheroes. And I just fell in love with it. And I couldn't think of anything else except wrestling. When I got into it, all I breathed was 24 hours wrestling. I loved wrestling. When I got the chance to book, that's all I did was think wrestling. I was very successful at that. When I went to WCW, I would say the third year I was there, I hated wrestling for the first time in my life.
What caused that? What brought you to that?
Just all the politics, the guys on top protecting their spots, a lot like you're seeing in WWF right now. A lot of subtle racism, holding back all the Latinos, when we all know that one of the reasons we beat Vince McMahon is because those guys were out there doing those weekly car crashes. I mean, there ain't one kid that was like 9 to, 15 years old, or even one teenager who didn't love the Mexican style. But, they were too busy, on the air making fun of them, Tony Schiavone and people like that, and relegating them to just, a first match on the house show. And, they dropped the ball. It was exciting. It was different. We revolutionized wrestling, and wrestling will never be the same because of the luchadors that I brought to WCW after I brought them to ECW, after Paul Heyman gave them the chance to be who they are.
It's kind of difficult to compare just because, once again, the education of the mentality of the wrestling fan in Mexico and the wrestling fan here in the United States is completely different. But as I spend more time in the United States, and I'm earning, the fans are seeing I'm putting in my time and I'm working hard, and the fans are, little by little discovering my past career in Mexico and in Japan, and they're starting to get into what I do a little more. It's a nice experience, I'm glad not to be part of a big company. I'm glad to keep it on the indie level, that I can, have access to the fans, and I can still, rise to the occasion, do what I want to do in my matches. So the fans, Mexico, it's a part of their culture, pro wrestling. It's been around there for over 100 years. And a lot of the old wrestlers had sons, and their sons and sons and sons and grandsons or whatever have carried on the tradition. The name and the mask was passed down from generation to generation. So fans have, there'd be a father, his son, grandson, or whatever, have followed wrestlers throughout history. So it's been around there in the family for over 100 years. Like I said, here in the States, I don't know, I just feel bad that the only option fans have right now is WWF. Not speaking bad about the WWF, but, it's just a shame that there's nothing else for the fans to see, because it is kind of boring. I don't like it.
mentally for a match? What do you do to get in your mind?
The first thing I do is, put on a tape. I got a compilation tape of my favorite punk rock songs. Ramones, The Clash, Sex Pistols, Rancid, stuff like that. And then I start to paint my face. I take my time. I can see the outlines coming and where I'm going to shadow and stuff like that. And I start getting into character. I start seeing the skull. I start seeing the evil eyes. I start thinking about what I'm going to do that night, what I'm going to wear, how I'm going to warm up. It's all like a big process. It takes me like about an hour. Then when I start to warm up, stretch, do push-ups and stuff like that, I start to think about actually physically, competing in a match or throwing big kicks or things like that. And then I got a little portable VCR, a little high-8 TV, and I usually watch some of my favorite matches or some of my favorite moments from matches to inspire me, so I get in the ring pretty jacked, and I got my mind in the game, because if you just sit around and you don't pay attention, take it seriously, you could get hurt somebody, and you go out there, and the fans know if you're into it or not. So that's pretty well it, my routine. It takes about, an hour and a half, 2 hours to do.
What goes through your mind in preparation for a match?
Dude, honestly, man, I don't even think about my match. Honestly, God, right? Honestly, God, you might catch me in the back doing some illegal shit that I ain't got no business doing to get prepared for a match before that. What goes through my mind? Do I think about my matches? No. Have I ever been under the influence? Have I ever did drugs in the ring? No, before I got in the ring? Yes, I have.
Now, you don't want to go in depth about this?
I ain't gotta mention it.
I know.
But I have done some shit before I went in the ring.
Tell them this. You dive off a 35-foot cliff without being on something.
You know what I mean?
Fuck you.
Hey, I'll tell you something. If you think I'm gonna go up in there, motherfucker, totally stable and dive on something, I need an enhancement. So, if I want to do whatever kind of drug I want to do, if I feel like that's gonna make me, it's gonna help me do it, then I'll do it. Have I ever done it before? Yeah, I've done it. There's been a lot of guys in this business that do drugs before they go in the ring or before they work out with it, and they won't admit it. But I'll admit it. I'll do them. You got some?
What age did you start watching wrestling? How did you know you wanted to become a wrestler? And how did you get into the business?
Actuality, I was a pro football player. At one time, I played semi-pro football. I was a nose guard, and but before that, I was a fuck-up. Excuse my language. And I went to my dad, which is a minister, and moved to Missouri. And he told me, after he helped me out, get me all, on the right track, he says, "Hey, what do you want to do with your life now?" I said, "Well, I don't know, man." He says, "Well, why don't you do something you love?" I said, "Well, I love wrestling." He goes, "Amateur wrestling?" He goes, "Ain't no money in that." And he goes, "Fake wrestling?" And I said, "Yeah, I'd love to do that." He goes, "Is there money in that?" I said, "Yeah, I think so." He says, "If I could hook it up, would you do it?" This is my dad talking. I said, "All right." Next day, he gave me every school in the United States, but I lived in Missouri at the time. There wasn't one there, but there was one in California next to my mom because they got divorced. And right after that, boom, I was there. Signed up, handed over my money, got in, and in a matter of a year and a half, I got a contract with WWF.
How did you enter the WWF?
Actually, I never did anything. I never sent a tape, not a portfolio, no nothing. My buddy JR, he sent in some backyard footage of what I was doing, which was in a garage. Sent it to Cornette. Cornette dug it and tried calling me up. I thought, when he called me, he was ribbing me. He goes, "Hi, this is Jim Cornette, Titan Sports, blah, blah, blah," right? And I go, "Yeah, right, Frank, I gotta go." Hung up on Cornette. he goes, Vic, he calls back again. He goes, Vic, get a pen and paper. He goes, it's area code 203, whatever, right? I don't remember the number. And he goes, call me back. And he hung up on me. I call him back. I feel like a horse's ass. He goes, hi, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. He goes, we really like you. You know, how the hell you even know who I am, you know? Well, through some backyard footage. And that got me my shot. They said, we're coming into town. We want you to do a match. And it was with my buddy Crash Holly. At the time, they saw some footage of him on the tape. They loved him. They said, why don't you just do a tryout match with him? Put it together. Bam. We both got 5-year deals. He's still there.
Did I have to? Did somebody die at my hands? Yes. All right, and that was in part of my job. I was bounty hunting. They had to go to jail. They didn't want to go to jail, so they went to hell. So I shot the shit out of them. It was either them or me, and I'm still here. Did it happen? Yes, it did happen.
So
was I proud of it? I ain't gonna say I was proud of it, but like I said, it was either them or me. You know what I mean? And it was a situation where I was given a license to arrest people, and I was also given a license that I could kill them if I had to, and I did. All right, there's a law, and it goes back. If you know anything about law, it's Tanner versus Taylor, 1872, and they reworded it over the years, but it says you still want it dead or alive, and you still get a reward for this person. But now they reword it so it don't sound as harsh, but it still means the same thing. And as long as you if this person is killed during that time of an arrest, and you can submit their death certificate to a judge along with their bond surrender, then you still get paid for them, and I still got paid for them.
I sort of give him the Frankensteiner, and then he hits me in the balls, he punches me, I weave back. Hits me again, he punches me, I weave back. And then he grabs my shirt and goes, boom. I had set the tables up like maybe 10 minutes before the match so everybody forgets about him, you know what I mean? And then we ended up doing a spot.
Same man just sprung to me, and don't worry about it, can't run about it.
What's your fondest memory of DCW?
It's I can't really say one thing. When I did Funk Out of the Box, when I did Cactus, Raven, Barbed Wire, all my stuff with Tommy Dreamer, Sabu, you know what I mean? There's too many points to define just one actual. It was a combination of a bunch of.
Who do you feel is the biggest asshole in the business?
You know what? It's a hard question. I'm not a judgmental person. I don't think about this person I like this person I like this. You know what I mean? Everybody's got their good points. Everybody's got their bad points. You know, I just try and get along. You know, I think for the most part, everybody's great guys here in this business.
Who do you feel held you back the most in the episode? Somebody that was trying to hold you down?
I would say at different times these guys, Eric Bischoff, Lex Luger, Kevin Nash, and Kevin Sullivan. Those are probably the only guys that ever really held me back that I could tell that had a direct say-so in holding me back. And 2 of them were personality conflicts, and another was they just saw that I was getting really popular and they wanted to hold me back.
Did you ever take it like, as a personal issue with them? Did you ever bring this up to them?
But they all denied it. They all sugarcoated it. You know, they either, not that they didn't have the buzz, they just probably said, fuck it, I don't got to give him an explanation. This is how we deal in wrestling. Now deal with it. It's probably been done to them before too, and they just look at it as part of the process, but they're stupid because they could have made a lot of money off of me merchandising wise. They could have made a lot of money off of me, off of Eddie Guerrero, off of Rey Mysterio, off of Chris Jericho, and they didn't. There was one time when I was so hot. I remember Goldberg telling me when Goldberg was the man, he goes, Conan, you're the man. And we were in Atlanta when he had just sold out that Atlanta Dome with Hogan. I go, no, you're the man because you sold this place out. Goldberg goes, bro, you're on fire right now. And I even remember telling Goldberg, you haven't even been in the business 4 years. They'll hold me back in less than 3 months. He goes, no, they won't, they can't. I go, yes, they can, and they did.
I enjoyed myself. I got an opportunity to actually do something that most people don't. I got to walk down that ramp, man, and there's all that crowd and the dream come true thing. But I felt, at the time, I didn't know the politics in the business. At the time when it was green, still needed to learn some locker room etiquette. And you learn real quick once you're up there. You can be over with the office. If you fuck the boys, or if they don't like you, you're done. And so now I guess I rubbed the wrong way for someone. I don't know how or why, what I did. Still to this day, I don't know why. but I'm not there, so something must have happened.
Who's held you back the most? Who's pushed you down? Who doesn't want you to succeed?
Brother, you don't got enough time for me to answer that. You can put me on TV, the internet, outer space. You can give me 100 years, and I could go on and on and on and on. I'll just say, how about if I say it like this? The company WCW ruined 3 years of my life. How's that?
That's a strong statement.
Well, that's the truth. Fuck them.
Throughout your career, has there ever been any promoters or wrestlers that held you down or tried to hold you down?
People always try to hold me down.
You don't want any names though?
I ain't gonna name his name. This guy named Paulie, that cocksucker, he tried to hold me down. You know what I mean? That piece of shit eating bastard, he tried to hold me down. You know what I mean? He lied to the whole fucking company about that bullshit he pulled in ECW. You know what I mean? With that would be like a whole goddamn talk show right there. But I mean, y'all won't even go into that. But that fuck couldn't hold me. And everybody that's ever tried didn't hold me, and he didn't either. So
When ECW crashed and it went bankrupt, what's your opinion about that to this day with everything that happened? You know,
Yeah, I'll tell you in a nutshell. Paul Heyman was a genius when it came to writing scripts and what's going on in the ring. He wasn't a good businessman. If he was a better businessman, then the company would probably still be going right now. That's the bottom line.
what would you say is your greatest or fondest memory of ECW?
leaving. When I left, that was my fondest memory. I was so fucking happy when I left, I didn't know what to do.
What about ECW? You sound like you really grew to dislike it at the end. What caused all that?
Because it was so much bullshit going on, and that motherfucking lying Jew bastard Paul Heyman was lying to the boys in the locker room so much to buy time to keep making money and keep not paying people to go to New York. Okay, one thing he said that was true. He said ECW and WWF were gonna be the next two big companies, and WCW would be null and void. That part came true. It didn't happen when he said it was gonna happen, but it did happen. So he knew about this shit 6 months before it even happened that it was gonna be where it is now. But he kept telling us, "Have I ever lied to you? Does this sound familiar? Have I ever lied to you? Guys, I swear on my mother and my father, I would not abandon you. I don't care what happens." And the cocksucker was just buying time. That's all he was doing. And I saw this shit coming way before anybody else did. You know what I mean? And that's why I left. To keep him having to, that's why I left.
If there was one person who you have to label as the downfall of WCW, the guy that just fucked it all up, who would it
I don't think you could blame one guy. I think the blame has to start with Eric Bischoff, because as much as everybody puts him over on the sheets now, well, I made more money with Eric Bischoff than anybody else, so what good is that if now you don't have a job? You know, so I mean, the end doesn't justify the means, you know what I'm saying? But the buck had to stop with Eric. He let too many of the top guys tell him what to do. He let too many of the top guys run roughshod. So as much as Hogan and Nash and a lot of other guys are to blame, the blame has to start with Bischoff, because if Bischoff wouldn't have let the top guys do what they wanted to do when they wanted to do it, we'd still be in business. I feel sorry for Eric because he's a very intelligent, very funny guy, and I think he buckled under the pressure, and there were too many sharks working him collectively and individually, and now you see the results, and I'm sure a lot of them wish they would have done things different and we'd all have a job.
When ECW went bankrupt, a lot of the guys are still owed money.
A lot of people are still owed money, including myself.
Is it pretty much just like accepted amongst everybody that it's not going to happen?
No, I ain't accepting shit. I ain't gonna never sit there and say, okay, you owe me money, I never make it, you never get it. I'm still working with doing some legal shit trying to get my fucking money. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna lay back and wait for this cocksucker to decide one day he wanna pay me or decide he wanna pay me. They don't work like that. I went out there and put my ass on the line, I expect to get paid for it one day somehow. Big Grind gonna have head meat. And this. Call it my blooming onion. I think that'll hurt. I think it will. What do you want? That's Chris Hammer. Keep the camera on. This is my favorite white boy. Matter of fact, the only white boy I like. Come in, cocksucker.
Housekeeping.
This is Chris Hammer, y'all. This motherfucker.
And he loves me.
So, now, me and this boy go way back. You know what I'm saying? Way, way back in the day. He had an afro when I met him. And we go back. And Chris is really somebody that I'm cool with. I have been since I've been down there in the business.
I love New Jack, and I'll always respect New Jack, and here's why. When I was doing my jobs in WWF, Jim Cornette came up to me. He goes, hey, you know, why don't you come and do that spot for me on my TV? Like, here's my card, call me. He called me. I went to work for Smoky Mountain, basically just getting my ass beat. They brought in the Gangsters, their first TV taping. I bumped my ass off for New Jack. He has never, ever forgot it. It's just like, we lost contact with each other when he was in ECW. So after we did our trial, when New Jack got there, I woke up and go, hey Jack, he goes, hey, I go, you don't remember me, do you? He goes, refresh my memory, you know, I took a lot of bumps. So I went, all I had to say was first TV tape in Smoky Mountain. He goes, Chris Hammer, and he hugged me for 5 minutes. From there, he took me straight to Tommy Dreamer. He goes, this motherfucker can work. Give him a job. I wasn't here, but I would love to have been there. New Jack goes into a bar. Guy comes up. He's fucking trying to big league New Jack, you know. Jack's like, sir, please, I don't want to fight you. I don't want to fight you. You know, this is all a gimmick. So the guy's got getting this, you know, confidence build up. He's like, yeah, that's right, because you know I'll kick your ass, right? Jack's like, yes, sir. He goes, see, all these tattoos are just gimmick. They're part of my gimmick. I don't want to fight. I can't fight. So he lets him go on. Jack's getting ready to leave. He walks up to God. He goes, sir. He goes, I'm fixing to walk out of my car. Please don't walk out and beat me up, because I can't fight. Guy starts following him. As soon as he steps through the door, Jack turns around. One hit, he knocks that motherfucker clean out. I thought that was great, you know. So here he is building up the guy's confidence. The guy's thinking, you know, I'm going to kick New Jack's ass because he's admitting he's a pussy. And then Jack knocks him out with one fucking punch. I think it's tremendous. Even when I first started out, you know, I would go to shows that I found out was in town, just hoping I could work. You know, show up with my gear, just praying I could work. Now, you know, you have a good chance of me not showing up if I'm booked. I'm just kidding. But, you know, I've never had the habit of no showing. The one thing that I can say about myself is I bust ass every show. You know, there is no indie show to me because the fans that pay the money to see, you know, me do what I do, then I'm going to do it. If I take trouble putting my gear on, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to fucking wow the fans. I'm going to do what I can and try to give them their money's worth. You know, that's one thing that always be said about Chris Hammer. I did a show in New Jersey. It was a benefit show for the September 11th victims. We wouldn't get paid. Here I am out there doing my fucking bump through the ropes and all that shit. And the promoter came up to me. It's the first time I'd ever worked for him. And he goes, my God. He goes, I've booked guys, you know, names before, and they wouldn't even do shit when they got paid. He goes, here it is, a free show, and you're out there fucking busting your ass. I'm like, that's Chris Hammer. You know, that's the only way I know how to wrestle. It's 100%. I'm never going out there. Even if the crowd is small or whatever, they're not responding, I'm still going to go out there and do my part. That's, you know, that's the best I can do.
I want seafood.
Recently, Missy Hyatt, one that she wrote a book, and she came out saying that she had sex with this person, just named everybody off literally. Did you ever fuck her? Or did you ever...
I wouldn't fuck that polluted bitch. Mr. Hyatt is polluted. Hell no, man. No, God. No, I never fucked Miss. I saw her naked. But I never fucked her. I didn't want to fuck her, man. Missy is nasty. I wouldn't have fucked her. God, no. She is nasty. And she was to fuck some guy Paul Eagle bring in. To do angles with people like that guy from the Ultimate Fight. They call him Bear and shit like that. Big old guy that Chad choked him out. When everybody can tell him not to do it. And he did it. Well, Missy, her job was to fuck him and keep him happy every time he came in town until they finished her angle. But that's what she was. She was just about making money. She didn't even fuck about herself. And that's the fucking traveling hoe.
So in a sense, that was like kind of her job for payment or not?
Yeah. I mean, what do you mean?
I mean, Because, I mean, it's not like it's
Her job was to do anything that he told her to do.
Yeah.
And she said go outside and fuck a whore, she'd have did it. Because she nasty.
Like the ECW group was. I mean, yeah, we had guys like Rick Rude come into our locker room and be like, God damn, this locker room's unbelievable, you know? Guys like Terry Funk saying, that man, there's not too many locker rooms that I've been in that have been like this in my life. God, let me think of some others. Steve Austin, one of the other ones was surprised what our locker room was like, you know. A lot of the guys that came in while they were out of WCW before WWF, everybody came in and was like, damn, you guys are a nice tight group, you know. And it's stuff where you can leave here, I can take my fanny pack off and leave it somewhere in the locker room and not have to worry about something getting stolen out of it, you know what I mean? Terry Funk, $4,000, dropped $4,000 in a roll like this fat, and he got it back that night. There's not too many locker rooms where somebody's going to find four grand cash and go around and look to find out who it is, whose the money is.
Fondest memory was probably my match with Kid Cash, because up until that point, and that was at the end of my career at ECW. Up until that, I felt stuck as a third wheel, you know, as one of the Baldies. They were the limelight. I was their backup. Never really got a chance to show the world or the wrestling business that I can actually work. And when Tommy said, "Hey, I'll give you 3 minutes. What can you do?" Me and Cash said, "Let's do it." You know, we went out and we blew it up. You know, and that match aired on TNN. I think it was one of the best matches I had so far in my career. So I'd say that.
When you were in ECW, you got to know Paul Heyman, and how has that developed until now? Does he still can touch you or whatnot?
Paul intimidated the hell out of me because I knew just like that my career could be over with ECW. I did most of my dealings with Tommy Dreamer. I thought Tommy Dreamer was the best, period. As far as keeping in touch with Paul, I'll call him, leave a message. He sent me an email maybe 3 months ago saying, "Keep in touch with me. I'd love to get you a spot if one opens." I haven't heard from him since, you know, so. I mean, they've got, Jesus Christ, there's only one company now. They've got so many guys, they can't even push the guys that they have, you know. I mean, look at K Quick. He's a talented motherfucker, but they didn't have a spot for him, so they let him go. You know, and then they've got all the developmental guys, and, you know, it's just hard right now. I'm making good on the indies. I do real good on the indies. The ECW name helped me so much. Paul gave me my first break. You know, he put me on fucking pay-per-view. Nobody's ever done that. So, you know, I'll always be thankful to him for that.
And people look at people like the Dudleys right now. They're claiming them to be hardcore. The Dudleys bit off of everybody in ECW that you could bite off of that was hardcore. They fucking came out and started dressing like New Jack. The beginning of their music is the same intro that I brought in. It got the biggest pop in the fucking world and still does. You know what I'm saying? And they took a combination of my shit, the Pitbull, and everybody else's, and combined it all and took it to Vince, and that's how they getting paid. You know what I'm saying? So they're like thieves. Okay, so I don't get in no props to nothing. Absolutely nothing. Other than disrespect. And when I get disrespected, then I take care of the way I want to take care of it. And if I ever saw either one of them, I beat the shit out of them. Because can't either one of them fuckers fight. 5 and 6. You know what I mean?
Person that you enjoy working in the ring with the most?
I can't. Cactus, Sabu, Tommy Dreamer in the early goings on, but most of the time we were tagging later. But Sabu and Cactus, we just like, and Raven, we just. It was just like poetry in motion, you know what I mean? It was just like, it was so easy out there with those three guys. I couldn't pick one out of the other.
I guess my biggest moment in ECW was the Guilty as Charged pay-per-view. Nova called me through the week. He goes, "Hey, we're working each other in singles. Come Sunday early, we'll practice our match." He said, "I want to work a spot in where you do the Super Frankensteiner off the top." I was like, "You're going to let me do that?" He goes, "Fuck yeah." So we worked that in, and then when I did it, the whole fucking place is going, holy shit, you know? And I felt good because I've been there less than a year, and here I am on pay-per-view getting a holy shit, and there's been guys there 5 or 6 years that's never got a holy shit, you know? So that was something special to me.
Dude, let me say, I say what I want to say. If I want to say it, I mean, I done got in more trouble for my mouth than anything else, I think, other than fighting, all right? If I want to say something or put something over, I do it. I was told one time not to go out in the audience or not to go out in the line and mingle with the fans and talk to them. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, why? Because they pay to come see you. Well, if they pay to come see me, then at least you can go out there and meet them on a level other than just being in the ring. You know what I'm saying? Because see, that's when people appreciate it. That's when I started bringing kids in the ring with me. Because Paul, that fucker, you know what I'm talking about, him, he said to me, don't do that because, you know, it takes away from your character. No, it don't take away from my character.
What's your opinion on Vince McMahon?
I don't really have one. But if you wanted me to come up with one, I mean, you know, he's very successful. From where he started to where he's taken wrestling and to where he's taken his business, and I'm sure his bank account was obvious to everybody. He's very successful. I can't give an opinion because I never met him. You know, he's doing what he wants to do. He's the boss, and that's fair. And you know, a lot of people that he's made rich and has turned their back on him, you know, that's wrong. And all the people that he's making rich now speak good about him, and all the people that aren't getting rich that want to be, you know, are attacking him too. So, you know, he doesn't owe anybody anything. You know, it's his business. He can do whatever he wants. A lot of people that are around him are cutthroats and evil people, but I guess you need that in wrestling, you know, because that's what it's all about.
What's your opinion of Vince McMahon?
Guy's a genius. Guy's a genius.
I think Vince McMahon is a genius.
Vince McMahon is a millionaire. Next question. The motherfucker's paid.
Okay.
My personal opinion, I don't know him personally. Vince McMahon is a businessman. Trust me, I ain't on his dick at all. But Vince McMahon is paid. And ain't shit you can say about it other than he's paid.
What's your opinion of Vince McMahon?
Vince McMahon, I met him in 1990. I had signed a contract to join WWF. I had the character Max Moon, which was like a robot that shot smoke, fire, confetti, etc. He was incredibly cool with me. I remember Paul Bearer was sitting outside with me, and it was Christmas, like 2 or 3 days after Christmas. And Paul Bearer, I remember going, man, my wife's gonna be so happy. Or it was 2 or 3 days before Christmas. He goes, my wife's gonna be so happy. This is a, you know, Christmas gift to her. And I remember that he told me he was waiting for Vince McMahon 2 hours in the lobby, and he never talked to him. And I went in and talked to him for about an hour, and I remember Vince telling me, man, you're a breath of fresh air, I'm gonna love using you. And he was great with me, and he had to fire me. I had no choice because I wasn't showing up for TV tapings because I was too busy doing a soap opera and a rap album in Mexico. And I was young and stupid, you know, I was like 23 years old, so I really didn't give a damn. But I think he still holds a grudge. Either that or Paul Lee, who I think is mad at me because I left ECW, is holding me back from getting the WWF.
So, who makes all your weapons like this one right here?
I make them.
How much did this take you to make?
Excuse me. My latest toy. This is called a ass whooper. Could you imagine getting beat with this?
Nah.
That was hurt. I beat this boy last week in Cleveland. No, Texas. I had like ass meat in it. I had that little piece of ass meat, little chunks of ass meat. I had to take it to the car wash and like blow it out with the hose. I whooped the shit out of that boy, man. This no hurt, man. I'm gonna use a knife. I'm Big Ryan. I'm gonna whoop the shit out of him. Fat fuck. It was a Smoky Mountain. We had this house that all the boys stayed in. And it was me, D-Lo, Balls Mahone, and Mustafa, and a few other guys. Man, I don't remember their names. We was all staying there. And I drove up one night. And what's the other guy's name? Not that ball. I can't think of it now. Anyway, Bruiser Banner. And they had these girls up there, man. They had these rats in the room. And at the apartment we stayed in. Now, all of us were living in an apartment, right? And Balls was trying to screw the girl. But they all was trying to screw her, except for D-Lo and Mustafa. And the chick had a seizure. But they thought she was getting off, you know what I'm saying? So when they realized the bitch was having a seizure, was Balls thought she was hyperventilating. When I walked in the room, this motherfucker had a garbage bag over the girl's head with a drawstring on it and had pulled it. And you can see the bag in it. And I ran back outside, got in the car and left. And I went up there the next morning. And the girl was sitting there, man, and she was sitting there right in front of the TV like, and I'm like, you alright? You like, got the money, yeah, that's my phone. Yeah. Don't cut it, that's my phone. Let me answer. You gotta take it off the thing, off the hickey. Oh, I can't do that one. No, it's my girl, man. Go ahead.
Alright, let me ask. Could you share a rib that you pulled on a wrestler? It's a clean taste, but very funny.
I used to like to go into the wait till the wrestler was in the bathroom for a while when I knew he was taking a dump, and in the airline stall. And then there's a way to jimmy the door where you can open it, and then it says vacant. But there's really somebody in, and I would wait where somebody was in there, about 4 minutes. I knew he was taking a dump, and somebody would open the door, and they'd be there, taking a dump in the airplane. It was always nice to hear, hey, and the other people go, I'm sorry, and then he'd hear me laugh, he'd come by, and he'd try to see who was laughing. I was usually first, second, or third, depending who the main ribbers were on the plane. If Kurt Hennig was there, he'd go to him first. Scott Hall was there, he'd go to him second. Come look for me, and I usually couldn't hold it in, but I like to pull a lot of ribs, so that's one of them. I can't tell the other ones, then all the wrestlers will know that it was me.
What was it like getting naked in Pensacola, Florida?
Pensacola, Florida, to tell you the truth, I don't remember much. Me, Fonzie, Justin Credible, and maybe Spike Dudley. We started in Tom Landry. He's got a place in Clearwater, too, right by my house in Clearwater. We started doing oyster shooters at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I had a half gallon of vodka on me. Here, let me see. No, my vodka's not here. I drank about 3/4 of a half gallon of vodka, did about 10 oyster shooters. Don't even remember much about in the ring, but I got totally naked. There was 3,000 people there.
What was it like?
At my parents' house. What was it like? I don't remember because I was drunk. I don't remember what it was like, and I'd never seen a video of it because Paul made sure the video got destroyed. So I haven't seen a video of it, but it kind of, I'm a real hard person to embarrass, but my parents did call me about it because they live in Pensacola, Florida, and they read in like some little rag paper that I got naked in Pensacola, so I told them it was a publicity stunt.
And you're talking some stuff. Come on in, really. Damn. Here we are again. Let him take a little time to the bathroom. Fuck. Go ahead. Come on.
My name is Jack. I don't give a fuck. I cut somebody the fuck up. I hit my staple gun. I'll do anything. I don't give a fuck. My name is New Jack. I'm a game guy. I will fork them up.
Chris, let me see your sleeve.
What, honey?
See your shoes.
See my what?
See your shoes.
My...
Your boots. I gotta go and take a shit, man. I can't put that back on.
You think I'm gonna let you shoot my boots?
I ain't gonna shit the boots. I'm just gonna put them on while I'm going there and shit. Cause your feet bigger, man. I got these braces on. All the shit you do, that won't be kind of funny.
That's right.
I don't like old hooker on it. I like old fucking old cheap ass prostitute on goddamn on the
Shut up, put your shoes on. Motherfucker's car with a fit. What size are they?
9.5.
Goddamn, baby feet.
That ain't. Don't believe that mirror. Long and strong. My name Deep Jack.
It was great. Owen was class act. Brett was a dickhead, and Owen was just the opposite. Excuse me, this is Chris Hamrick interview. Can I help you? Hey, where you going? This is your interview, you fuck!
Get the part of it. I went and took a duty. It'd be amazing having that stomach shrink when you're shit. Well,
Everything come out okay?
everything came out fine. And the paperwork was lovely. Thank you, guys.
Mike Austin did too at the pay-per-view. I mentioned the night after. You got knocked unconscious. You had a concussion.
Broke my neck. That's what ended my career.
That's what happened.
Yup. Broke my neck.
But you're obviously wrestling now again.
Yeah, but I would have been off for I was off a whole year.
Yeah, that's the night I met you, man, right? The second night on Nitro.
Yeah, I don't know what I was doing.
Yeah, I remember I talked to you after it happened. You were pretty, shit.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It might actually happen on the Thunder taping. There was a double. I remember. I don't think you remember much from that night. You were fucked up bad.
I just remember the doctor telling me I would never wrestle again, and I had to go to therapy, get my speech back, learn how to walk again.
Learn how to walk again?
Yeah, I couldn't walk right. I lost control of my legs.
Jesus. Did you ever talk to Mike Austin about that day till now?
No, I tried to, but he didn't even call to say sorry or see how I was. And neither did WCW. But I worked hard to come back, and here I am, and not obviously, but apparently, fans still dig me.
I got to work 3 matches with him, and to me, I had a lot of respect for Steve Austin because I had seen him a lot on TV, and I just thought he was a great ring technician, and I just had a lot of respect for the guy, and as it turns out, like a lot of people tell me now after they meet me, they're like, "Damn, you're just a regular guy, Hack." And that's what I can say about Steve. He was just a regular guy. And then even when I seen him later in WWF, he was just really super strong, Stone Cold 316, and he treated me like I was an old friend of his. So. He's one of the guys that's done me good in this business. A lot of people think, "Oh, don't you think he stole your gimmick? Your gimmick is my beer." So he drinks beer. He doesn't come out and slam beer cans against his head. He doesn't drink a six-pack before he goes into the ring. Somebody throws him a beer afterwards. No, I don't think Stone Cold stole my gimmick, and no, I am not mad at him. Good night.
I'm always trying to, like I say, I'm always trying to come up with something that when the people leave, they'll go, "Fuck, Chris Hammer can wrestle." But I'll never forget, George Steele was an agent in the back, and he comes up to me, he goes, "I've got heat with you, kid." And I'm like, "Oh, fuck, I didn't do it." He goes, "I've come to these matches for 60 years. I try not to sell." He said, "You done brought me out of my seat twice with that fucking bump." He said, "Don't do it anymore. My heart can't take it." So a month later, I walked to the building. I hadn't even got in yet. Owen meets me at the door. He goes, "I'm working you tonight, right?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I haven't even been inside." He goes, "Yeah, they told me." They said, "You're working the kid that does the bump." And he goes, "You want to do it tonight?" And I'm like, "Do you think I should?" He goes, "Fuck yeah." I said, "All right, we'll put it in." Owen was the greatest. I mean, he was the nicest. He's just the opposite of Brett. What turned me against Brett was he was world champ at the time. Instead of associating with the boys, he sat over in the corner by himself. Now, I mean, he didn't even talk to Owen a lot, And somebody asked him, it's like, "Brett, why don't you ever work jobbers?" And he's like, "I'm not going to end my career that way. They don't know what they're doing, Not to blow my own horn, but, I consider myself a lot better than some of the guys they were pushing, And another thing that turned me against him, we did the show at the Mid-Hudson Civic Center. So it's like the arena and the motel and the lobby is all they've got a lounge there, and it's all in the same place. So after wrestling, we was all going to the lounge, and kids wasn't allowed in the lounge. But they were standing outside, getting autographs and all. And here's the biggest heels in the business, Yoko, Owen, and all them signing autographs. Brett walks in with his belt over his shoulder, and the little girl, she must have been about 7 or 8, she said, "Mr. Hart, can I have your autograph?" And he just looked at her and walked right into the lounge. You know, and I thought that was shitty because without the fans, you know, we're nothing. So that turned me against Brett. And Owen was just the opposite. He was the nicest guy in the fucking dressing room.
Can you tell us, we'll start with Mass Transit, can you tell me what happened, what exactly happened that day, and just the whole history behind it all?
Okay. We did a show in Revere, Mass Transit. Showed up and said you wanted to get a tryout and everything. If he didn't get in the ring and try out. What happened was Devon and Axel was supposed to tag against me and Mustafa. And Axel had some family problems, so he couldn't show up. So we needed another big guy. So we had already talked to Mass Transit and said, you know, open up and we'll give you a shot. And somebody came with a bright idea of using him so Axel wouldn't show up, you know, he was a big boy and everything. So when I talked to him, you know, he was like, yeah, I want to do it. But the problem was, you know, we was at his hometown, you know, and he's from Rhode Island, but like right next door to Boston. So, you know, he comes in and, you know, he's like, yeah, man, you know, I appreciate y'all giving me the opportunity to work this and the other, but my mom, my dad, my girlfriend, everybody's out in the front, you know, and they want to see me do my match, and, you know, can you let me do a lot of shit to you, you know, can you put me over to the point where, you know, they're happy with it. In other words, he says, can I put you through a table, put me through a table? I said, no. He was too heavy to go through a table. So, well, he could have went through, he was too heavy for to hold him up. So, we decided what we was going to do because of this kid's attitude was we was going to beat the shit out of him. And we didn't let Devon in the ring. And then he comes back with this bright idea of he wanted me to gig him. Cut his head, whatever he wanted to bleed, you know, in front of his family and everything. And by him showing me the disrespect that he did, then I agreed to cut him. And I cut the shit out of him. And no, he didn't move his head. He didn't jerk away. He didn't do nothing. He just sit there and let me cut him. And I cut his head like a fucking Thanksgiving turkey. And he was in the ring laying there gushing blood and still went on to finish the deal we were doing. And he went to the hospital and the cops were looking for me and I got the fuck out of town. And about 9 months later, they made it official that they had issued a warrant for me based on cutting him in the head. So I went back to Boston and turned myself in. They set a trial date. Went to trial and I got found not guilty. When I go home, if I see my old lady, I'm gonna take this motherfucking thing and tell her to beat the shit out of me with it. Number ass, just ass. Slap that eye on the same bed, just like that shit. Beat me with me, make me play like this. Put it in your eye with the show. The crazy thing I did in a match, I set somebody on fire one time. The craziest thing I did outside the ring, I fell off a platform with Vic Grimes and down there killed myself. Next.
Well, bottom line is, me and New Jack, we've had a feud from ECW, which actually carried over to a real life shoot. And tonight, what happened up on the balcony was something that happened at a pay-per-view, and things went wrong, and we usually don't talk about it, and I'm kind of going to keep it that way, but tonight things went right, and everything seems to be okay. But Jack, I love working with the guy. He's definitely helped me in this business as far as giving me a little push. You know, I'm putting him over, he's putting me over. But that night, shit went wrong.
Which wrestlers and promoters do you feel have helped you out the most?
Which wrestlers that helped me out? Ray Candy helped me. when I first started. He helped me a lot. Shut up, you fuck. He helped me a lot. And okay, I'll give him a prop. Big Grind's been a very nice crash for me. He never moved when I know him. He always let that call me. And to be honest, if it was me laying there, he jumped.
Many times, many times saw the whites of his eyes. I said, get the fuck out of there. But I said, all right, just I'm gonna lay here.
We need drinking money tonight. Give me my money.
Party.
Now.
Party.
Party money.
He's drug free now.
I'm drug free. I get my drugs free.
That's true.
No, he's really fucking drug free. It's awesome.
I got killed. That's pretty much how it is all the time. No, it knocks me out. Whatever the hell he did to me on the ladder knocked me cold. Cold. And then all I remember is my music playing, and I went down. And I remember I got hit. Boom, fade to black. My music was playing, and the next thing I remember, I was downstairs in somebody else's locker room looking for my bag. And they're like, "No, Sam, the guy walked me over there." You know what I mean? God damn. You know what, though? That's probably happened to me maybe 40, 50 times in my career. Cactus Jack knocked me out 4 minutes into a match. I went another 23 minutes and don't remember any of it. And Cactus grabs me and goes, "All right, get your cigarette out." And I said to Cactus, "Why would I be smoking a cigarette now?" I was out. I woke up the next day in the hospital in Philly and Heinemann. It was like 10 o'clock. My wife was there. The doc goes to me, this is like 1995, 96. The doc goes, "Who's the president?" I said, "Like FDR. Where are you at right now?" I said something like Cuba or something. I gotta go back to sleep. And then I woke up like 5 hours later, and I started to have a little bit of a clue. But I'm getting used to this stuff, man.
My limits? I would say, well, as they call me, the CEO of hardcore, I always say every time I enter the ring, it's just another day at the office. Because for me, honestly, I don't feel pain. I'm knock on wood, man. My dad or whoever, God, has hooked me up to where, I'll feel it maybe 3-4 days later, but I don't feel it. And I don't fear much. I don't fear anything except responsibility. And I got married. I'm taking care of my kids, so I don't think I got any limits. I'll do just about anything as long as it ain't so much about the money. It's also about, for me, being the first. Like, I was the first ever to do exploding ring match in the United States. It's also to be able to do the first, craziest bump on this, craziest that. I get off on the recognition with doing something and pleasing myself more than the money. The money isn't everything, So I don't think I got any limits. I'll do anything. Of course, for a little money.
You're labeling, you think you have 46 years left on your wrestling career?
Yeah, it's because I got other things I want to do in my life. I want to be with my daughter. I want to be with my wife. I'm a teacher. I got a martial arts school in Montreal, and I'm learning a new style of martial arts now, and not a new style, but an old style of pro wrestling that doesn't really exist anymore. And I'm studying that intensively. I want to open my own gym someday and teach guys. So, I want to teach people martial arts and about fitness and stuff like that. So, I'm kind of trying to get, I also want to get it, I got some TV roles coming up. I'm also playing with my band on the side. I got this new opportunity to do this radio show. I want to do other things in my life,
WCW and WWF, they got too much, they don't allow us.
Yeah, a lot of studio, and they book like 6 months in advance. In ECW, our show started at 8. 80% of the time, Paul Heyman didn't have the card together. Didn't even start to put the card together until 10 of 8. We would never advertise matches unless it was like a pay-per-view or something like that, or maybe one match. But everything else was just like off the top of his head.
Yeah, I didn't even know about.
Well, because he knew, because everybody was so good right there, and we had a crew that he knew any guy in our locker room, like from 1998 to 2000, you could have taken Joe Schmo off the street, stick him in the ring, and that guy could walk him through a 30-minute match, you know? So he don't care, you know? Anybody can do anything, and anybody can work with anybody.
This is me before match. Hey, you want to see a real thumb? Let me out.
And you know, here's the difference between me and a lot of wrestlers. A lot of people may say this is bullshit or whatever, but a lot of people are in this for the fame, the glory, the money, and all that. I'm in it for the money. Don't get me wrong. It's good money, but instead of the fame and fortune or being on WWF every week, I would rather have the reputation of when you see Chris Howard walk through the curtains, you know you're going to see a very good match with some fucking cool spots. You know, I want to be known as a respectable worker. When people see my name on the card, they'll be like, fuck, this guy can go, you know, and that's what I want.
Yeah, I got 3 kids. I got a daughter who's 15, going on 45, who's more mature than I am. She's got a Japanese tattoo that means bad girl on the back of her neck right there. She got another tattoo on her leg. Actually, she's not my real daughter, but she's lived with me ever since she's been 6 months old. And I had to tell her on her 5th birthday that her dad died in a car accident. So, for all intents and purposes, I would die for her. And that's the bottom line. You know what I mean? You can't equate love any more than if God walked down, flew down, whatever, and I don't even believe in God. If some being said, listen, you or her, take me. You know, I would die for the girl, and that's it. She's not my real daughter, but to me, she is my own blood. I would die for her, no problem.
You know, no wrestlers, no union or anything. What's it going to take to get a union so that wrestlers have rights again? Because right now, the only person, nobody has rights right now. That's
Yeah, because I think that's a pretty obvious answer. When the guys on top, like The Rock, Austin, you know, Hunter, say, fuck Vince McMahon, you know, I'm going to help the other wrestlers out. Because they at one time were in our shoes. But, you know, they're just thinking about themselves and they don't give a fuck. But what's going to happen the day that maybe they're not superstars again? They're going to go, fuck, when I had the power, I should have started a union. But it has to be the top guys on top telling McMahon, you know what? I don't care how much you piss, how much you treat us. These motherfuckers down here need a union. And then they start a union.
Look my new song, look. Isn't he hardcore? You know he will fuck you up. All you gotta do is get a ring when it was all cause boss, it will kill it ain't bad, think it ain't illegal yet. Shit, looking back on when I had to learn it and give a fuck. You stop filming the shit. We don't oh shit, now that's fucking entertainment.